The NFL kicked off on Thursday night for week 3 with the Carolina Panthers going against the Houston Texans. It was a 24-9 victory for Carolina. Sad note in the game, superstar running back Christian McCaffrey exited with what seems to be a hamstring injury. We're going to get into these games here coming up for week 3. Stay tuned. Welcome to yet another edition of Something Like a Sportscast. It's your boy, Dre Giles. I want to start out by talking a little bit about the games, or should I say teams that have not won a game yet this year. We have a few 0-2 teams. There's a few teams still searching for that first win. The Minnesota Vikings, Detroit Lions, the New York Giants, Jaguars, Colts, Jets, and Falcons. It's a lot of teams that are 0-2. Out of those teams, I would probably say that the Falcons would have a good chance of maybe turning their season around. I think Matt Ryan kind of needs to figure it out a little bit. I think he needs to take control of this offense. It seems to be all over the place. I mean, you have a couple pieces in place. You have star receiver Ridley. I think they'll be all right. I think at the end of the day, they'll be fine. Another team I would say would be okay here is the Minnesota Vikings. Now, they have a nice defense. The Vikings have put together a nice defense. They also have a solid core offense, is what I would call it. I think Zim just needs to get them under control, get them to calm down a little bit. I think the pressure might be mounting a little. I think they're expecting more out of themselves, kind of a psych out, I guess you can say, of their self. They'll be all right, though. They'll get it together. The Indianapolis Colts are an absolute mess. We don't know what's going on from week to week in Indianapolis. They got Carson Wentz from the Philadelphia Eagles, picked him up. He's always injured. Seems like this guy is just injury-plagued. That's one of the reasons why he didn't make it in Philly. He was injured a lot, and now he's bringing his injury ways, I guess you can call them, right on over to the Colts. So we'll see what happens. We got Philadelphia, speaking of, playing against the Dallas Cowboys on Monday night. I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be interesting, to say the least. I mean, they got a couple good quarterbacks going against each other. Dallas has Dak Prescott. Amari Cooper with a rib injury, but I seen that they activated him. I believe he practiced today, so they should be all right. What do you think, B? What do you think is going on with this Philadelphia and Dallas game?
The stats show that over the past 10-plus years, Dallas has only won 3 of those games on home turf. So it'll be an interesting game on Monday night. Dallas is favored to win that game. Definitely one of games to watch.
I want to get into some of these games here that I think are pretty interesting. There's going to be even though some of them don't seem as if they'll be that interesting, I believe there's a few of them out there. For starters, I would say the Chicago and Cleveland game. The Chicago Bears are going to travel to Cleveland to play the Browns. The Browns they're a good team. The running backs they're solid. Now you got OBJ, that's Odell Beckham Jr. He's been out. He had a pretty bad injury last year. He was out halfway through the season. They've held him out the first couple games here this year so far, but I think he's ready to suit up. He's going to be back on the field. That'll give him a big target. OBJ, he's a superstar receiver, I guess you could say. Then he has his running back core with Hunt. Hunt is out there. He's a good back. He's a good back with Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb now is their starter. Nick Chubb does the workload, most of the carrying. But it's nice to have Kareem Hunt come in and pick up the slack where he's needed. You also got the rookie, Justin Fields. Justin Fields is getting his first start on Sunday here. Justin Fields went 6 for 10 in his appearance last week against the Bengals. He passed for 60 yards, threw one interception, ran 10 times for 31 yards. Not the greatest performance, but we'll see what he does when he takes the helm here as a starter with the Bears this weekend in Cleveland. Cleveland, of course, has Baker Mayfield, who's been pretty awesome here, even from last year going into this year. Baker Mayfield against Justin Fields is it's kind of the matchup I see. I guess you can say it's in my head. Fields is he's a big kid though. Fields stands 6'3" at 228 pounds. It's a big running back, or that's a big quarterback coming at you. There, Fields. He's an Ohio State product. I think he'll do fine. He just has to read the defense a little better. I remember in preseason he got whacked pretty hard where his helmet came off from that blind side blitz. So as long as he keeps his head on the swivel, I think he'll be all right. He's a young kid. He just has to go out there and relax and play his game. I would say this game, as interesting as it is to me, would be maybe the first part of my times 10 part. Matter of fact, I'm going to make it the first part of my times 10 parlay. The money line reads for this game as the odds are 7.5 for the home team Browns on the spread. The money line is at a plus 290 for the Bears with an over of 45.5. I think they're going to put up a lot of numbers here. They're going into Cleveland. I'm going to take the 45.5 for the over on this game. It's going to be the first pick of my my times 10. What do you think about that, B?
Your last one hit 100%, all 3 games. I put some money on it. I made some money on that parlay. I would hope our audience did as well. You guys been asking for these games. Well, here they are.
Is probably one of my favorite things to do, especially here Sunday and Monday nights. So it's great to sit down and hang out and eat and watch a little football. The next game up for my times 10 pick is going to be with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the LA Rams. Now, the Bucs have a couple people out, so I don't think it's going to tip the scale very, very much. Antonio Brown is out with the COVID protocol. The Bucs are not sure if he's going to be available or not to play, which is all right. I mean, with the other targets that they have, I think they'll be fine as far as their receiver core goes. They'll also be missing linebacker Jason Pierre-Paul with a hand injury. Now, that's a blow to the defense because he is a big part of the defense, and especially with the LA Rams now having Matt Stafford, I think that Stafford can maybe feel a little calmer in the pocket knowing that he doesn't have Pierre-Paul coming down at him from off that defensive line. The Rams can put up numbers with Stafford. Stafford has a few receivers to throw to. He has Woods, Higbee, and Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp has been having an awesome year this year. This guy has 271 receiving yards with 3 touchdowns. So the Tampa Bay defense is going to have to step it up just a notch here, I think, in this game for this week. On the other side of the ball, of course, you have Tom Brady, Mr. Reliable Tom Brady, right? With the likes of Mike Evans, a wideout with Chris Godwin. He also has Gronkowski. And Gronkowski even came out of retirement just to go to Tampa Bay and play with Tom Brady. I mean, I don't know if you really call it coming out of retirement to move to Tampa, Florida. I mean, it's already nice down there. It seems like retirement. I mean, playing football, why not? Gronkowski's actually done pretty well this year so far. He's one of Tom Brady's favorite targets. He has 12 receptions for 129 yards with 4 touchdowns to start the season, which is great. Brady's actually been pretty awesome too here. 655 passing yards, 9 touchdowns, and week 3 hasn't even started yet for him. So I'm interested to see what these two can do going forward here. The line on the Bucs game is 1.5. That's the money, or that's the spread. The spread is 1.5 on the Bucs game. The money line for the Rams sits at plus 108, and the over/under on this game is 55.5. Now I'm going to do something a little different here for a second pick of my times 10 here. I'm going to take the over on the 55.5 for this, but I'm also going to take the 1.5 point spread because I think Brady and those guys have what it takes to win by more than 1.5, even going into LA territory. So we're going to go ahead and set that as my second part of my times 10. It's a little awkward, a little different, but you got to step out on a limb and try some things sometimes. Derek Carr, this guy's been lighting it up. He already has 817 passing yards so far this year. It's kind of surprising, I would say. I don't think anybody's seen the Vegas Raiders coming out and putting up numbers like this. The offense is a pass-first offense, is what it looks like. Gruden is just dedicated to this pass offense, and it shows. Derek Carr puts the ball up. He throws the long ball. He has the young guy, Henry Ruggs III, and Hunter Renfrow. They both played big parts here in the season start so far. Plus, they have the superstar tight end, Darren Waller. And this is a big target to throw to. This guy's 6'6", 255 pounds. If you can't see him coming down the field, you need to put some glasses on and get your eyes checked to tell you that. They can move the ball down the field in a hurry, very, very fast. They'll get downfield here. On the other side, they got the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins got dismantled here this past week, 35-0. Their quarterback is out. Tua's done. I believe he has a rib injury. They got Jacoby Brissett as their starter. He didn't have a very good week last week, that's for sure. He does have Will Fuller coming back, though. Will Fuller is take the top off the defense type of receiver, so we'll see if Jacoby Brissett can connect with Will Fuller. He's finally activated this week. He had a personal problem last week, and then he was suspended the week before that. They have the odds here on this game for the point spread at a -3.5 for Vegas. The money line is a +162 for Miami. The over-under is 43.5 on this game. I think I'm going to stick with the spread on this. With the numbers that the Vegas Raiders have been putting up in the last couple games, I believe that they can pull this off, especially against a pretty much depleted Miami team. So I'm going to take the 3.5 over. That's going to be the third pick of my ×10. And that's going to just about do it for us here at Something Like a Sportscast. Thank you for joining us for yet another episode. Stay tuned to the channel for new content. And you always can follow me at Dre Giles on all social media platforms. Also follow Sino_Crown on all social media platforms. And you can follow us at SL Sportscast. Thank you, and we're out. Something Like a Sportscast.